I was like, yeah, my car, I'll just put it over. Years and years.
I have to talk to the guy. Look into it.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the August 22, 2006 Board of Selectmen Sewer Commissioner meeting. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. All 5 selectmen are present, as is the Town Administrator, Michael Hartman.
Thank you very much. At this time, if there's anyone in the audience that would like to come forward and address the board, I would ask that they do so now. Good evening, sir. Would you please state your name for the record?
Scott Lakin.
Can I ask you to speak into the mic, please? Thank you.
I'm Scott Lakin. I live in Rose Point on 36 French Ave.
Okay.
The reason why I come forward is about sewer and water betterment that we're being charged down there. I just moved down there 4 years ago, and they never told me about sewer and water being put in there. And I moved from Shangri-La from my other house to move into a bigger house and a better house. The betterment, the way I feel, is very high, and it's forcing me to think about moving somewhere else because I can't afford to live there anymore. It's getting very high with taxes and all that, and I'm really concerned about what's going on with that. So I was wondering what they're going to be doing down there for that purpose. Why they charge us so much.
Why they're... Is that your specific question?
Yes.
Okay. I think that we can answer some of your questions with respect to sewer. We cannot answer your questions with respect to water. You will need to go to the Wareham Water Department for those answers. I don't think the final numbers for Rose Point have come in yet. Is that correct?
No, all you have is the maximum estimate.
Yeah. Which was what?
No, the total amount, roads and was just over 25 maximum. I know because I just reviewed it with a citizen yesterday, but I don't remember the number. I think it's roughly $19,000 for sewer, $6,000 for roads.
Yeah, I know the water was 7,000 to top, which was lower than what they predicted. But the sewerage is much higher than what they said when we had a first meeting with you people before about what it was going to be. And it's really real high.
Yeah, we've always given the worst case scenario. And until the project is actually 100% complete, we don't know what those final numbers are. The last numbers that we gave at the meeting, which I believe Mr. Hartman just said was close to $19,000 for sewer, and then an additional $7,000 for the roads? Approximately $7,000 for the road, is a projection, and it's considered the worst case scenario.
So what's going to happen with that? They're going to put a lien on my house until it's paid off, or how are they going to do that?
There should already be a notice of intent to lien that was placed on your property at the onset of the project.
Now, if I decide to sell my property, what happens then? I have to pay that lien off? Or is it no negotiable with the house if I decide to sell it?
I think that that's something that's probably between you and your buyer. Typically, liens are paid when property is sold. If you were to sell your property tomorrow with a notice of intent to lien without an actual dollar figure attached to it, the intent to lien would move with the property.
Okay, and the other question I have about the paved roads up there. I live on French Ave, which is a new development. There's 7 houses down there. The road was paved when we moved in with drainage. Now, the way I feel, now they want to pave the rest of Rose Point, and the 7 people that live down there feel, why should we pay for pavement when our road's already done? And the other thing is they dug it up, they patched it, repaved it, they didn't pave it to what it was originally was when I moved in there. It is not finished. And I talked to the contractor said, well, we got to wait for it to settle. And as far as I'm concerned, to me it looks like it's finished, because usually when you repave a road, they raise the sewer drains up a little higher so they can finish it off, and then they left it like that. And it is not finished.
Okay. Michael, I can't speak to the roads in Rose Point at all.
Yeah,
So.
no final paving's been done in Rose Point yet. I cannot explain why they didn't raise the structures. They should have.
Yeah.
All that's down now is the binder coat.
Because it is,
Yeah.
they did a lousy job, and that's the way they left it, and that's the
The
way it's
final
been.
paving will be the last thing they do, literally the last thing they do.
And that is supposed to be like the late spring, early summer, or
Yes.
something like that, isn't it? So it's like a year away.
Okay, and the other thing is Blackmore Pond Road, where they put the water in. I don't know if anybody's been down that road. That one right side is real bad, it's all sinking in, and it's very hard to drive on that side of the road. If you got a car coming the other way, it pulls the car all over the place. It's very dangerous. It needs to be taken care of. It's bad. And
Yeah,
the way I feel
the-
they did Ferren Hill Road, I don't know why they didn't continue
The
on
Water
through that,
District
'cause
has
it was
agreed
done.
to pave that. The town has a bylaw. The Water District is aware of it. They've been very good about following that
Okay.
bylaw that requires any ditch like that, paving curb to curb. And Water Commissioners just said from the back of the room that they will be paving that this fall.
Okay.
I don't know about the timeline, but they have indicated they will pave it. We have every reason to expect they will.
Because I noticed the water, people that were doing the water pulled out, so I said, well, they're going to leave it like this, I guess.
So, I'm sorry, Bruce. You had something that you wanted to add?
I blanked. There's something about the money.
I heard it.
Oh, I know what it was. I don't believe the lien is accelerated if the house is sold. I think you can transfer the lien to the subsequent, or the subsequent owner. I don't think, I'm not sure if that was part of
It's
the
some type of an agreement that needs to be made. Typically, a bank will require a lien to be paid unless it's in the contract that a buyer will assume the betterment.
The loan is to us. We don't
Yeah.
require.
Right, correct.
Right. It comes up when they do their due diligence on the title work.
When they do municipal lien certificates, and I think
understand.
that's what Mr. Lakin's concern is.
I
And the other
understand. I
question is,
just want people to,
how much interest is on this loan
uh,
that we're going to have to pay? We were told 0 to 2% is when this all started.
did
And
we
now
set
rumor has it, I heard it's up to 4%.
It was, but it'll be back down to 2.5, right?
2.5?
Well, as of right now, under the law, the board's got two choices. One choice is a flat 5%. The other choice is what they borrow the money at plus 2%, which in this particular case for your project, as well as Beaver Dam and Briarwood, that's all state revolving fund money, which means it's 2% money, which means it would be 4%. However, the board is currently working on an article for town meeting that would petition the state legislature to allow them to reduce that 2% to a lower figure. That's got to get through town meeting, and then once it gets through town meeting, it has to go to the state legislature. When it's adopted, then the town will be able to impose an interest rate lower than the 2%. Before then, they're precluded from doing that.
Okay, so if it's 4% and it's 33,000 and the loan rate is 20 years, it's 2428 a year. If it's 2%, then it would be $2,018 a year. So between
On top of the taxes I'm already paying.
no, this is a betterment. This is not a
It's on top
tax.
of them.
I know, but I'm still going to have to pay it through the taxes.
No, this
It's like I have
is
more-
not a tax. This is a betterment.
Yeah.
The betterment will be between 2,000 and 2,400, depending upon the interest rate, over that 20-year note.
It will come with your tax bill,
Yeah.
but it will
No,
be
but that's
listed
what
as
I'm
a
saying.
betterment.
Well, I understand, but, we want to be very careful. There's other people listening here, and they need to understand that this is not a tax, we're not exceeding Proposition 2.5. This is a betterment specific to the property. It's not a tax. Yes, it goes out under the same tax bill, but there's a distinction between a tax and a betterment. A betterment goes away. Taxes don't.
Now, one other question. How long do you, when the job is done, how long do you have to wait for it to tie into sewage?
I believe that our Board of Health regulations require that you tie into the system within 1 year.
Within 1 year?
Within 1 year, you tie into the
Well,
system.
my house is only 4 years old, so my system's fairly new.
Okay, and I believe that if you have put in a Title